Understand that what's now planned for Birmingham is what they're calling a fire sale of assets, among them the library, the art gallery. How will that work? Will public amenities be sold to private individuals?
Well, that's the experience that Slough is going through at this minute. The
Yeah.
only way that Slough could was by getting a special dispensation from the government to use a capital direction which has to be paid back. And the only way you can pay it back is by selling capital assets. Who knows which assets they're going to be? It may be all the development sites that Birmingham might own. But the debt has got to be paid.
And so does this mean that the assets that were sold will be assets that the residents of Birmingham thought belonged to them collectively? They thought as they lived in Birmingham and Birmingham Council owned, say the council houses, say the library or whatever it is, that it was theirs, and now it will be effectively sold out from under them.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. So that there will be things like children's centres, there'll be things like libraries, there'll be areas of land which are amenity land, and they'll be sold. And those capital receipts will go towards paying off the debt that's been accumulated by failing to deal with this financial problem.
Is there some sort of undertaking that the government has to give to make sure that the lives of people in Birmingham don't deteriorate markedly and they don't suddenly find themselves falling into holes in the pavement or without rubbish collection or things like that? Does the government have to at least keep up a certain kind of standard, or can things just get worse and worse?
It's not for central government to sort this out. It's for local government
Right.
to sort this out. And there are statutory services that you must provide, but those are fairly minimal. And some services that people value greatly are not statutory. And you look at libraries, for example, the library service is a statutory service. But what does that mean? Is one library with one book sufficient? Do you need to have all the branch libraries? People will have less services. That's inevitable. If local authorities don't address the problems when they come up, the end result is that things that you wanted to keep can't be saved.
In Croydon, it seemed as if there would be no penalty for the councillors who presided over the effective bankruptcy of the borough. I think lots of them continued in post. I think the leader remained in post. What's going to happen to the people who presided over what's happened in Birmingham?
So there used to be a penalty for members who did these things and incurred the council losses, and that was abolished as part of the coalition government's changes much earlier on. So there is no penalty. The penalty is the ballot box. Again, if you look at Slough in particular, the leader of the council that presided over the disaster lost his seat. The administration changed. That the ballot box is the way in which people express their displeasure at the way in which the council has been run.
In just a very few words, Max, because we're running out of time, could this disaster have been averted if more notice had been taken and measures implemented earlier?
Yes, because the council knew about this. Bob Kerslake, before he was a lord, late Bob Kerslake, did a major report commissioned jointly between central and local government, which recommended a series of actions, recommended an improvement panel. That improvement panel did not get the council to achieve the changes that were necessary. That was abolished. Non-executive advisors, of which I was one, were brought in. That didn't also get the council to move at the pace. It's up to locally elected members to face up to the problems and sort them out. So Birmingham have known about this issue for a long time. Yes, there are local circumstances now and times are very hard, but it could have been dealt with over many years before.
Max Caller, thank you very much indeed.